Hi. Imagine if you're busy celebrating New Year's Day on March the 25th. Yes, March the 25th. And then you hear the government has decided to remove 11 days from September. And what if it's 1 year in Britain and America and another in continental Europe? Well, less than 300 years ago, all these things happened. In this video, I will look at the great calendar change of 1752, how it came about, what the effects were, and how it might impact your family story. But first, let me share with you how I stumbled upon this calendar quirk. Something seemed strange when I was transcribing an old will from 1683. The first part of the will was dated November 1683, but the second part was dated January 1683. It was unlikely to be a mistake, so I tried to figure out why that would be. And then I remembered that I was in a period when Protestant England still used the Julian Calendar, and this had impacted all the dates. So let's look at a bit of calendar history. What is the Julian Calendar? The Julian Calendar was introduced by Julius Caesar way back in 45 BCE, and it replaced the old Roman calendar. And this was the first solar calendar based on the Earth's rotation around the Sun. Previous calendars had been based on the movement of the Moon. Unlike ours, the Julian calendar was 365 days long with a leap year every 4 years. Now, unfortunately, the Earth's rotation is not precisely 365¼ days. It's approximately 11 minutes less. So over time, this calendar became increasingly inaccurate. And by the 16th century, the Julian calendar was inaccurate by about 10 days. Now this takes us to the Gregorian calendar, the calendar that we all use today. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced a new calendar to correct the errors of the Julian calendar. From now on, the centenarian years will not be leap years unless they are divisible by 400. In addition, the Pope also decreed that 10 days were to be removed from October to realign the calendars. Now the problem here was that not every country adopted a new Gregorian calendar at the same time. As we can see from this chart, some countries even waited till the 20th century to realign the calendars. Now we have two calendars, the Julian and Gregorian calendars, in use at the same time. Not only did the calendars not align, but the users of the Julian calendar had over time adopted March the 25th as their New Year's Day. Now this is when Christians celebrate Annunciation Day, which is the date that the Virgin Mary supposedly conceived Jesus, who was to be born 9 months later on what is now Christmas Day. As I said earlier, this means, for instance, that February the 1st, 1750 in the Julian calendar will be February the 1st, 1751 in the Gregorian calendar. So we now have two different calendars and two different New Year's days. Very confusing for everyone. So in 1752, Great Britain and their colonies, America was a colony at this time, decided to switch to the Gregorian calendar. This involved three major components. Number one, changing the formula for calculating leap years. Number two, beginning the year on January the 1st instead of March the 25th. And finally, 11 days would drop from September. So in that year, September the 14th followed September the 2nd. Very unfortunate, I guess, if your birthday was September the 12th. Of course, these were not simple moves. We can only imagine the uproar an action like this would cause today. And the English Conservative Tory Party was against the change, as was perhaps some of the population. The exact reaction of the general public is debated, but some protests appear to have taken place. So when looking at record dates before 1752, you need to consider these different calendars. You may even see these dates include both Julian and Gregorian years. Now there's one thing that remains from the Julian calendar. Prior to 1751 in the UK, the tax year began on New Year's Day, March the 25th. Now, unsurprisingly, the government did not want to impact taxes with the calendar change, so they basically stuck with the Julian calendar as the tax year. It's moved a few days since, but the UK tax year still runs April to April, and that's based on the Julian calendar. Now before I go, just a few words about months. Septem is Latin for 7, Octogeniti is Latin for 8 and December is Latin for 10. September, October and December are named after these numbers. So September was the 7th month, October the 8th and December the 10th. Now although this worked really well for the Julian calendar, we have to go way back to the original Roman lunar calendar based on the movement of the moon that started the year in March for naming these months. I hope you found this video interesting and helpful to your research. Please like and share this video, and it would be great if you subscribe to my channel. I try to put out at least 2 or 3 videos a month. Have a great day, and I'll see you all soon.